Hello, hello, hello. And we're live here with day 3 of the SEO Mastery Summit Q&A. And right now I'm joined by Craig Campbell and Keith Evans. First of all, a huge shout out to our amazing sponsors, particularly our partner sponsors, ODYS, Investors Club, and Magical Bus. Now, our lead sponsor as well, IMG, also huge thanks, and all our VIP sponsors, big thanks as well. Please make sure you visit all our sponsors on the webpage. They all have some amazing offers for you. So, thank you for joining, Robert. I can see there's always already a lot of people clicking in to the live stream, so that's fantastic. I've been collecting some great questions from the sessions today, so I keep getting a lot of emails, so I'm trying to stay on top of it. The first one, it's around CTR, and that's for you, Craig. So who is the first person who will kick Craig Campbell and Chris Palmer off the top spots on YouTube for CTR?
No one. I'm going to have to fight back and say, no chance. Bring it on. I think Holly Starks does some stuff on YouTube, and Luke Flanders, I'm not sure how you say his surname. He knows what he's doing on that. So, yeah, it really comes down to who's got the most time and most budget if you want to dominate that. Me and Chris have been getting away with it because no one else has been doing it, but yeah, it could. But we welcome any competition. It'll be fun and games, so bring it on.
Excellent. And there's also a couple for you, Keith. So the first one regarding CRO. What's the first couple of things you always see people do wrong from a CRO perspective? Pretty broad, I guess.
One of the challenges most people talk about is they want to talk about their company, but people don't give a shit about your company until they know that your company can actually solve their problem. So it's really hard to do because the whole idea is like, don't use we, don't use they. You even have to be careful of using I, like I do this, I'm so great. Really focus on what is your audience and their customers' challenges. Then you can say, here's my solution, and now who we are, right? Here's my trust signals. Here's my reviews for our company. That's a big one. Another reality too is really poor headlines, right? You really have to think about, was it an ad that got attention and then pulled them over to your landing page, or was it off of organic? And trying to understand that what they saw in the ad is the same thing they're going to see on the landing page. You can't have a disconnect there. It's why people, it's why businesses like GrooveFunnels and ClickFunnels exist, because you can have multi-funnels for multi-offers. You have to speak to that user. So you have to have good headlines, and you don't need to overdo it, right? You just subtle enough to say, hey, here's my offer. Here's your challenge. Have a story. Here's a solution. You're done.
That makes a lot of sense. We've got also a couple of content questions. So I know you guys are very experienced, so I'll fire them at you anyway. So one of the content questions is, I've written some solid content and spent quite a bit of money getting it done, but it's not ranking at all. And in analytics, I have 0 traffic for the last 3 months. Do I remove it and say waste of money, or any alternatives?
Keith, you want to go first?
I would first really look at on-page. I do so many on-page hacks where even just yesterday, I did 2 H1s for a local service company. And bam, it moved up more positions, right? First, pay attention to what does Google want, the users, right? And then try to satisfy that query, and then watch. Even if you're on page 7 and you move up to page 5, you're doing something right. What is the content ranking for? and then trying to optimize it. The other solution is you go for a long tail keyword, right? Something that's a little bit easier. Maybe it has less than 100 searches. You get the power in the ranking there. You start to build trust and credibility. Now maybe you could add more of the more difficult keyword within there to try to get higher traffic.
That makes sense. For me, I think a common mistake a lot of people make is they think they've got solid content. So what they do is just, go out, get someone to write 1,000 words, job done, and they think that's solid content. Now, who says, first of all, it should be 1,000 words? Are you using POP or Surfer to gauge what the competition are actually doing with their content to rank it well? What subheadings are you using? Are you using things like Keyword Cupid to find clusters? There's so many different things that you can look at from an on-page, as well as what Keith's saying, adding a header tag, any of that kind of stuff. What constitutes good, solid content? And 9 times out of 10, when I look at people's content, they're just like, yeah, I just got my content writer to write 1,000 words. That isn't good, solid content. You need to look at what Google is rewarding in the top 10 pages of Google. That's what Surfer are looking at. That's what POP are looking at. And then form a structure to your content. Start adding semantically related keywords. Start doing all of that good stuff. Because again, that's the difference between your page ranking for 10 keywords or 110 keywords. If you start to dig deeper and deeper, how long has that content been up for as well? If it's only a few days or a week, give it more time, but add internal links to your website into that content if it's really important for you. Build links to that content as well. Have you done the basic plagiarism checks? That there's got to be a number of different things you've got to look at before you start looking at that content and binning it. Has it been copied and pasted? Has it even been done with any research? That's some of the things I'd be looking at.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think that was
just to add in, great points, Craig, is that people will always look at like maybe a two keyword combo, and it's getting thousands of searches, right? And you're like, oh, I want to rank for that. Man, I mean, if you don't have the trust and the authority, you're screwed. So if you go with a long tail, and maybe you have a section on your site that is all about that topic, then you can have multi-type keyword combos, such as the related semantic topics, or even comparisons, reviews, the how-to info, and then here's a comparison, or here's what's best. Here's pricing on that. There's different subcategories within the main category. You can have that as a section of your site.
Fuck me.
A lot of trust for you.
Yeah, and Craig just mentioned Keyword Cupid that we talked about earlier on in the summit. So again, if you haven't checked out the Keyword Cupid review or the Keyword Cupid walkthrough, I've just posted the link again in the chat, but definitely recommend having a look at that. So keyword research is one of those things a lot of people struggle with, and now there's a somewhat automated tool that can help you do some of it. So another content question. So in terms of, I have a guy here that says, I've gotten some Indian content written. It's actually ranking pretty well. So typically in between the 3rd to the 10th spot. It is making money. So I'm a little bit afraid to touch it and update it. But does it make sense? Am I likely to lose rankings by updating it, or is the risk worth taking? So
the first thing you typically do is minor changes, right? Very similar to CRO. You don't want to go in there and say, oh my gosh, I didn't even use the right keyword in the H1. Just do some minor changes. We know that the title in the H1 is powerful, so maybe you tweak an H2 first, right? Maybe all your competitors have like an average of 7 H2s. Maybe you should add one more. Maybe you could add a little bit more content, add more semantic words to have just that appeal to that natural language that Bert is looking for. Minor stuff first.
Yeah, so Craig, this one, you might have a good input on this one as well. So basically, a guy saying you've gotten some Indian content written, and it's not great quality, but a lot of it is ranking sort of between the 3rd and the 10th spot, and he's a little bit afraid of start messing with it because it is ranking and it is making the site money. And Keith said very well that, you know, the best thing to do is just start editing a little bit by bit rather than do a total makeover. Any other things to add on that one?
Probably not. I think, you know, Keith's hit the nail on the head there. You know, make small changes. If it's got you to page 1, then, you know, it is all about fine tuning it from there on in. There's not much else you can do. You know, just try things out, see what works, and revert back if it doesn't, and try something else. But again, it's again, use the tools that I would use, because again, I've thrown out content there. I go over all blog posts, and again, go back to Surfer or POP or something, because that's what I'm always doing. I always go back and add to pages or tweak pages or try and better those pages. So don't be afraid of doing it either, in case it's going to do you impact your rankings. I think I heard the end of what Keith said. You know, adding semantic related keywords, because for me, if my page ranks for 50 keywords, what do I need to do to make it rank for 550 keywords? That is what I'm looking for. People are always constantly thinking it's more content, more content, more content. It's not. You squeeze as much juice as you can out of what you've already got as well. So we're all doing that anyway, and I've never seen anyone really have a negative impact for doing better things to their own page. So just do that, and as Keith wisely says, just do it in moderation, just to, you know, go with the flow and see how it goes.
Yeah, maybe add in like another question that's relevant, question and answer. That'd be great. Additional information, right? Keep the users on the page. Maybe say, well, shoot, maybe I should really have a video in here. Should we have some gallery info? Do I need to deliver the information slightly different? Would this be, instead of having this paragraph, what if I had, 5 bullets? Would that be easier?
Yeah.
I like that one. Yeah, that's a good one.
An FAQ is a terrific one as well. An FAQ schema. Just ramming them on at the bottom all the time as you're being asked different things. Answer that question on the site, and wrap it in schema as well, and just take up more of that landscape.
Cool.
Yeah, I really like to put FAQ right actually on that article, on that service page, on the affiliate page. Keep them there. The human can quickly scan up and down the page, and they see the headline. They see that maybe it's an accordion, right? They can click, they can open it up, just like the sample I presented in my video. That has an FAQ right there that tries to quickly address their questions.
Yeah. Fantastic. So another CTR question. So I've tried it. It's working, but I feel I'm constantly needing to pay money to microworkers, and often it moves my keyword from the 8th to the 6th spot. Is it really worth it? Well,
I think the timing of when you do CTR is the important part. So I think for me, you would only really implement CTR if you're in the top 5, or maybe even, you're 3rd and you're trying to get into position 1, because then organically you're going to get all of the traffic anyway, and hopefully that will allow you to make it stick. Whereas if you're in position 8 and a bit of CTR is only getting you to position 6, maybe you're not doing enough CTR. Well, you aren't doing enough CTR. That's the reality of it, or you would go higher. But there's other on-page things, like we just mentioned, adding more content, adding more semantically related keywords, building a few more links. Try and do everything in your power to do everything you can before you start implementing CTR. It really is only the icing in the cake. If I'm in page 3 and I do CTR and it jumps up onto page 1, the minute I stop doing CTR, I'm back down to page 3. So that is essentially what happens, and you need to implement it when you're in that top 5 and organically get that top slot, And hopefully, if you maintain that for, a period of weeks or a month or whatever, then it should start to stick, purely because organically you're getting more than everyone else.
And don't overlook that your title and your description, it can almost be like an ad word. Let them work together to get the emotional click, to talk to that consumer, to say, this is why you want to click on this. Even if it's now number 7, the human's going to go down the page and they're going to see the headline. If they see something, one trick is to put like asterisks around your words. Use all caps. Use some symbols to make those things pop off the page, and then you'll get that natural click as well. And it satisfies their query, right? It's like, that's what I was looking for. And it's there. It's bolded in the meta description. Also, don't overlook that, you can write your meta description 250 characters if you want. You can bury some of those secondary semantics later at the end of your meta.
Right. Big question here from Diane. So, love the 3 accents. Yeah, I'm trying not to use my Scottish accent when I'm in here. That just goes all wrong. So, was wondering about the video content. I have some 2-minute videos up already, each on their own page, and then transcribed underneath with more keywords. They are actually ranking well, and I noticed Google, they're now showing the video image in the search bar. The video is embedded by Wistia. Do you feel there's anything else I can be doing?
I would probably look around the headings. Like, what are the headings that might make the on-page a little bit stronger? Tying it into the title and of course, H1. If it's just straight transcript, right? And the user's thinking, why am I here? Should I just watch the video or should I just read along through the transcript, right? That's where you need to step back and be the actual designer of the page and say, I want to keep them engaged. Is there something else we need to have here? Was there something we talked about that maybe I should drop in an image? Should we just deliver the information slightly different than the video? Really, you kind of have to just, you'd have to look at every case and just see what might lead to a better experience. And that's really what you're looking for. What's the ultimate experience that the user can have on your page?
I would also add to that having tried and tested transcribing videos into content, I don't think it actually works that well. I used to try and steal people's content, go to videos and get it transcribed and shove it on a PBN or whatever. And I think Google's now clever enough to understand what is transcribed content. And for me, I just don't think it cuts it. I think you'd be better doing a shortened version with your own, writing. I just think transcribed content somehow for me doesn't work that well. And I've tried it on tons and tons of websites, and it used to be a tactic that worked really well. I used to simply just go over to, oh God, what was the website again that transcribed all the YouTube videos? It was like $1. Rev.com. Yeah, I've even forgot. I've spoken about it that many times. I forgot what it is. Rev.com and use that for content, because literally a 5-minute video would have gave me like 1,500 words of content from Rev for $5, and that worked really well for a period of time. But again, I do podcasts, I do videos, and it would be amazing if I could just transcribe them and Google ranked them. Doesn't work like that. I think you just need to do better. For some reason, I think Google can see what you're doing and just doesn't. And as Keith says, even from a user perspective, why are we here? Should we just watch the video? Why are we reading all this kind of garbage? Is it offering any value? Probably not. So I would probably change it up a bit.
So one question for me, she says she's embedding it by Wistia. Is it a better move doing it on YouTube? Again, there might be a reason behind why she does that, but I'm just thinking, because I know, Craig, you rank a lot of stuff on YouTube, so is there more traffic potential doing that? Or
I mean, I've never tried the approach that the person was asking there, but for me, YouTube is it statistically the second biggest search engine out there, out with Google. And I would want, if I'm doing videos, I want to rank in YouTube, relatively simple and straightforward. So I would be embedding YouTube videos on there. And again, how to rank in YouTube is all about engagement and obviously your titles and everything else, but the watch time and engagement is really important for your YouTube videos to rank. So you have to try and piece all of this kind of stuff together. So the Wista approach for me, I've never even used Wista. I've never been on it before. I'll be totally honest. YouTube is where I watch all my videos, and I think for me that is the number one platform at the moment to do that and try and do a bit of SEO to your YouTube videos to get them to rank, because there's a ton of traffic there as well to be had.
I thought TikTok was your go-to, Craig.
Tried it, but no one was engaging with my bad dance moves, so so I gave up with it.
Fair enough. You can't win every time, Craig.
Exactly.
Right. Like, this is definitely one to your direction, Craig. So I hate link building, and I love the idea of buying an auction domain that's already linked up, whatever that means. But I'm struggling to find some solid guide on how to effectively use auction domain. Where's the best place to look?
I'm not sure there's a guide, but I could maybe make one actually now that you're asking for it, because I can't think off the top of my head genuinely where there's a great guide as to how to utilize an auction domain, what you do with it, if you're going to clean it up, if you're going to check if it's been trademarked. I don't know if there is actually a process out there, so I'm going to consider doing that actually. I can make a guide and put it in my YouTube channel for that. For you, reach out to me, let me know the kind of things that you maybe don't know, and maybe help me help you basically, and I'll make up a guide, because auction domains, there are so many little quirks to it. Obviously, you want to take advantage of a strong backlink profile. Yes, there's tons of domains that drop every day that have got tens of thousands of pounds worth of links just sitting there that you can utilize. But has someone been on and stolen the content? Has someone spammed it to death before? Does that domain have a trademark against it? There's so many other things that you need to consider, and there's a process to follow. Like for me, when I get an expired domain, I'll try and repurpose it, see if Google still likes it, and will index it quickly. I may then give it a bit more power, and so on and so on. So there is a process involved there, and I'd be more than happy to do a guide on it. I'm always looking for ideas for fresh content. So reach out to me on Facebook or email my website, craigcampbellseo.com, and let me know what you want to know, and I can certainly put together a guide. But genuinely, off the top of my head, I'm not trying to say, oh, come to me. I've never actually seen one of them, and I think it's a great idea. So I'll be interested in doing it.
Cool.
Nice.
That sounds great. So next question here is content related again. So a lot of content talks today. What is the 3 most common easy wins you see with content? So you might kind of have covered that already, but the 3 most easy wins with content.
Who wants to go first?
You go first, Keith. I need to think. I need to think of this one.
Damn it, Craig! You're always on the cleanup. Cost is a big thing. People want to know prices, right? So you can have a page dedicated to that. That's a great way to rank. I've even started ranking because I deal with a lot of service businesses in the small business market. Their gallery pages, I can rank their pictures, and you'll see Pinterest, and then here's my customer. So there's ways to take pages and get the traffic, because that's the win, right? What are people searching for? They're always looking for more info, more in-depth, more comparisons. You see that a ton on the affiliate side, right? People really want to know that I can trust this site, trust the value of the information, and then make a buying decision. Price is definitely a huge one.
Cool. I have another quick question here. So this is around local GMBs. A guy's saying, I have no keywords either in business name or in the domain. Should I literally shut down my business and start a new one? Or can I manage without keywords?
You no, you can put a keyword in your name. Just go right to your GMB and just change it. If you wanted to, maybe just add one keyword, add the geo. I will say that if you want to start any new business at all, and Google is a part of your future, you're definitely going to want to have a keyword somehow associated with what you do. So if you're a plumber, plumbing, there's nothing wrong with Jack's Plumbing. You don't have to mention the city, but that's unique enough that the average user, they get it. You're Jack, or that's the guy's name. You have a little friendly cartoon of Jack, and it's about plumbing. So your entire website is about plumbing services. What do you think, Craig?
I mean, yeah, you're right. I think in terms of getting more out of the clicks and just showing someone what your business is about, it's an ideal situation to have a keyword in there. However, that said, for the particular person that's asking the question, you don't even need a website to rank a GMB. You really don't. I mean, there's so many GMBs that rank that don't even have a website. So this talk of binning off your business and starting again, you don't have to do that. I mean, I could rank, mad singers for a whole bunch of different services on a GMB relatively easy if you understand how to manipulate
escort service or what? Towing, mowing, what should you rank him as?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say what I want to rank him as, but
I'll take that as a compliment, Craig.
But realistically, I think what Keith says is right. If you can have so that if someone's looking for a plumber, they don't see Jack Smith or something, they'll be like, is that a plumber? Is it not? So I think it is like key probably to have Jack's Plumbers, because then they know there's a plumber there and not some jackass, basically. But you definitely don't bin off your business. You can get a new domain name and change up your GMB, but binning off your business or binning off your domain name purely based on GMBs, you don't have to. You don't even need a domain name to rank a GMB. It could be any old domain name. Just tweak your GMB to contain something plumbing or whatever it might be, and go from there.
The other thing too is you can do that even temporarily. You can get a DBA. You can be totally legit, totally legal by putting your geo or your keyword in your name. And then once you dominate your market, then you could go back to your major brand name. It's a common challenge, right? But the other reality is, if you're the best, if in you, exactly as I talked about in my presentation, you are legitimately irresistible, you have great customer service, you have great pricing, you do everything right, the name doesn't matter, right? Look at Apple, look at Coke. I mean, it's just, we know them now, but they were nothing beforehand until you made the brand, you made that name for yourself. But it definitely helps to prime the pump by being a little black hat, putting a keyword and your service in your name to at least get up and get the go.
Here's something else you can do as well while we're talking about black hat. Look for an unverified listing in your area and just take it. There you go. Just take it. And don't worry about bidding anything.
You've got the black cap on today, Craig.
So unverified listing, take the traffic. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, enough about that.
Right. So here's a couple of links questions. So as a newish website, what are the best link sources to purchase for the best value when starting off? I feel like I could spend thousands of dollars on links without getting anywhere?
Yes, you can. I hate links, right? I hate them. I try not to mess with them. I think you can never go wrong with a press release because you are announcing it to the world who you are. You can also get links just even off of citations, right? They may not be a true follow link, but it's still a link is a link, and it's showing credibility of who you are.
Interesting. I mean, I like links. I'm not going to lie, and there's a wide variety of links. As Keith says, citations, PR. You can do outreach. Look at what the competition have got. Guest posts, niche edits, PBN. There's a whole mix of different types of links you want to get, and you want to try and get what the competition are getting for yourself. Now, whether you have to buy those links, build them, create them, lie to people, trick people, there's so many quirks in how you go about getting links. What I would say to you is obviously check out vendors. Now, there's a number of different vendors like getmelinks.com and a whole bunch of other people, serpninja.io, a whole bunch, and I'm not wanting to promote the whole world in terms of link services. However, make sure you use the right vendor. One of the biggest failures is people not attributing the right budget to the right areas when it comes to SEO. You've got to spend, and you're saying, I might spend thousands and thousands of pounds. Of course, there has to be investment. It's the same way you look at content. There's got to be investment in content. There's got to be investment in links. Otherwise, you're always going to struggle. But do not go for middlemen. There's so many, that 90% of link builders out there are selling someone else's links, saturated to death. What you want to do is try and get links from real websites that have real traffic and rankings. That is something that's important. Do not go to people per hour and get one of those links that's a DR70 that hundreds of thousands of people are getting links on every day. That is not going to pass you any proper juice. So have a look at guest post providers who've got good lists. People have contacts all over the place. Ask around, look around in Facebook groups, and you see, I mean, Mads knows a lot of the guys I know who are all into links, and there's good vendors and there's bad vendors out there. Just avoid those middlemen because there's a lot of people selling stuff that's way overpriced, and just go direct to the source, as I say. And I've mentioned a couple of guys there, but mix it all up. Do not focus solely on niche edits or PBNs or guest posts. Try and get a bit of PR and everything else that you can do to make it all look natural.
Excellent. Now, Keith already mentioned press releases, so there's a question in regards to that. So what is the best value place to buy press release distribution for both SEO benefit, but also real, genuine publicity?
I actually don't mess around a lot with them. So I'm not really the most certified to answer the question.
I'm more than happy to tell you. So you've got a number of vendors that will help you with the SEO side of PR, if you like, where it's just going out across websites, news websites, and everything else. Now, you've got Nix Lee, Spine PR. You've got Randy Rodet at 38 Digital Market, both of whom have gigs on Legit, where you can go on there, buy a press release, and it'll cost you. They've got different packages, so it depends what you want, and it works really well. There's also another person called magicpr.com. Now, this guy has something with a difference. So Nix and Randy Rodet, I use them, and I use them quite a lot. Now, over and above that, this Magic PR send out your press release to something called Sison, which is a PR newswire website that can get picked up by a whole bunch of other stuff like radio and sends it all out over and above what Randy and stuff do. They've got their own network of websites that they send it out to, and you'll get listed on there. But those work really well for SEO, getting links and power and exposure online. Traditional PR is different, where it costs a lot more money. So if you want to be in the news, realistically, you've got what is called an advertorial. So you can simply just pay the press, and you can have a full page spread for $1,000 or $2,000 or whatever wherever you're based, the price is going to depend. And it's going to highlight at the top of it saying advertorial. So basically, you're going to go on there and say, you're the king of SEO or whatever it may be. You're going to pay thousands of pounds for it. And realistically, is it really going to drive that much power, that much traffic? Probably not. What you need, the key here to good PR is hiring a good PR person who's got a good brain, who can make something newsworthy, do something that grabs attention, that actually hits the real pages in the newspaper. Now, I'm not suggesting tell lies or whatever, but you need to be creative if you want good PR. And that's why these PR people, if you want the kind of notoriety or whatever you want to call it, you've got to pay big money for that. And you've got guys in the industry, that's their sole focus, is doing that crazy PR. But a month of it can cost you $5,000. But at the end of the day, money talks. I could go and get a listing on the independent newspaper if I wanted an advertorial. I can approach any newspaper and just say to them, what does it cost for me to get a featured article in here, or an advertorial, whatever they want to call it, and you can pay for it. But money talks at the end of the day when it comes to PR. So be careful what you spend your money on, and probably if it's for SEO benefits, stick to one of the Magic PR or Randy Roday or Nick Lee's, because they can do gigs for you for like $400, and it will get you like 30 or 40 links from it. Now, that's really good from an SEO point of view. So that is what I would recommend.
It's also very likely, too, that no matter what industry you're in, there's some sort of professional industry organization. They may have, if they no longer print a magazine or a paper, they may still have a actual electronic website. Reach out to them. They're begging for information. And I actually started my SEO career, what really lit it up was in PR, but it was like legit. I'd have the best photos, the coolest info. It was written so well. The journalist, all they had to fucking do was sign their name, right? And they were happy. Make it easy for them. So look your industry, and you might have to go deep for association or trade magazine, etc. But those are the great kind of connections. And then when you befriend them, they might be able to give you other inside connections, because if you can be published in places where no one else is published, that's really going to help drive the trust for you.
Yeah. Definitely. That's a great tip. So here's a little bit of a client question we got today. So how do I move from low-paying clients, so $500 to $2,000 a month, to higher ticket clients, $5K plus per month? What's the best way to go about that?
I deal with a lot of clients. Like anything in life, when when Toyota came to America, they had the worst cars, right? Because you have to be the cheapest and the worst, and then you build up your reputation. And there's no way I could go to talk to anyone and say, oh, I'm the best, give me $5,000 and I'll rank your site. I have no credibility, no reviews, I have no reputation. So you've got to start somewhere. Start with the small ones, and then you build that up. The other reality is, it's just your overall confidence, right? It's that sales confidence of recognizing what's wrong with their site. What are they doing wrong currently with their marketing? Because the reality is SEO, it's only a tool that you use to get them to go up. That's why, I started in my presentation is it's about results, right? And the other thing too is the conversation you have with your client is really going to be about what do they really want and how much value do they put into their customer. So if they think, man, a long-term customer is worth $5,000 to us, we can do, 3 of those a month or whatever the situation. You just do the math and you make them a fair price and a fair offer. And that's how you grow your reputation, right? Soon they rank, you get a testimonial review from that attorney. And the next thing you know, you just keep growing and growing and growing.
Love it.
I think reputation is everything. People have had their fingers burnt with so many of those crooked SEOs that are out there, not providing a good service. So you do need to build that trust and credibility. I think and these guys will seek you out. I don't think they take pitches anymore. I think if you're wanting those high-end clients, someone in that company will be watching videos, webinars, conferences, and seeking out the talent that way rather than you pitching your services, because everyone's getting pitched on a daily basis. So time, work, and building authority and credibility and doing stuff like this as well.
Right. And that's definitely one for you here, Craig. Craig, share one black hat tip you never shared before.
Come on, man. I never shared before. I share them all.
Get off the bleep machine. Bleep, bleep, bleep.
Man. I see, the thing is, I don't know what you've heard. That's the problem. Who's asking that question?
This guy called Ken.
Oh, you busted me. I typed that in.
Ken. God, there's that many, really.
Give us one. Give us a good one.
Neg SEO on someone's website, they're like going after the competition. There's so many, like clicking out people's AdWords, fucking, sabotaging their rankings, sending toxic spam to death links to people.
Didn't you just have a DDoS issue?
Not me.
Sorry.
The company that I was helping promote, my sponsor, did get DDoSed. So yeah, I've DDoSed. I need to be careful what I say. I've not DDoSed anyone, but yeah, I played these games, tested it out on someone else's website, uploaded images to people's GMBs that they might not be able to see with the human eye. I have also went into GMBs. I used to do GMB audits, and I used to go in there and stick a URL shortener on and put my affiliate link in there on hotel websites. I've done a whole lot of bad shit, man. As I say, I really don't know what you've heard and what you've not, but
Cool.
I can't think of anything else, really. There's too many.
You have to be careful, because one day Craig was in the bar or wherever, I'm not sure the exact details, and told a guy the kind of stuff he did. And did you get punched in the face? Is that what happened?
They tried to punch me in the face, but yeah, they didn't actually land the punch. It was me that punched the guy in the face, and then they tried to report me to the police and stuff. Me and Charles Float both got a lot of grief at that event, purely because of black hat stuff or whatever. So you have to be careful, and some people see you as the devil or whatever, and yeah, that's why people are a bit cagey in what they say, because people take it personally.
That's definitely why virtual events is the way forward, huh?
Yeah.
Then you'll get a couple of Twitter puns instead.
Yeah. Okay. Twitter abuse is always good.
Yep. Right. So next one. What is the best place to find high quality .co.uk links with over 1,000 href traffic for $75 a link that aren't just guest post farms? That was awfully specific, but any ideas?
The answer is, I don't know.
Do it yourself. No vendor is going to sell you that. That's the problem. You get guys like Gary Wilson who sells links, with those specific metrics that you're looking for. But I think the DR30 is round about $129, something like that. Now, he's obviously got costs for Pitchbox, people reaching out, all of that kind of stuff. He's also got to pay for that link placement. So the price you're looking for, $75, he'd be as well just doing it for free because he's not making much profit on that. And he's got overheads and everything else. So guys ask these questions, and someone actually reached out to me saying, go to tell Gary to do the links for this price. And I'm like, and I said to Gary, this guy's threatening to spend big money. But Gary's like, what the fuck? I'm not going to work for free. Like, fuck off. You know,
I'm going to message Gary and tell him that you said he should just as well work for free.
Yeah, well, he should. But nah, listen, I'd love to get the same links for that price as well. Sadly, you know, if I want links like that, then I'm going to have to do the outreach myself. And could I still get them for $75 when I take into consideration the person's time to do outreach, Pitchbox, and all of the other kind of stuff that goes on top of it? Probably wouldn't be worth my while. So, you know, it's just easier to pay someone else what they want for that service and stop messing around, scrimping and scraping, wanting specifics on a budget.
I agree, particularly if you have like a one-site thing, right? I mean, obviously, if you're running 10, 20, 30 sites, then it could make sense to do something in-house. But definitely if you're a one-site band, if you will, then yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
One question that comes up often is people will say, what do I wish I would have done different now, 15, 20 years into marketing? And I was always, I understand the black hat world because it's good to know. Not that I, jump on those things. There might be gray hat and the green hat money, but find out what your real passion is. Electronics, surfboards, whatever it is, and start writing and building sites and manage your own PBN. And they will be very powerful because someday you'll speak at an event where you'll be able to connect with our friends and will pay good money for your links. That is a great way to get in the industry and to have a very strong trust and authority to grow into your first $1 million.
Cool. Great answer. Right. Amongst the many ranking factors, which one will boost my traffic the most?
It depends. If you've got shit content, no amount of links is going to put that up there. So
I was going to say, without content, you're nothing. So yeah.
I mean, you've got to start with basics. Content, you can't do it. No content, you can't do nothing. Relatively simple and straightforward. Do I think that's the most important thing? I would probably say it's 50-50 between content and links. I'm not saying technical's not important or, and all that kind of stuff, but, I think people don't lay enough emphasis or try and take away the emphasis from link building. For me, in really competitive markets, link building is still probably the thing that will move the needle the most after you do the basics properly, which is content and on page.
Cool. I like that one. And then next up here, how do I prioritize my SEO tasks the best? I always feel there's so much things I can do, but what should be the first things to prioritize on my list?
I mean, that again depends on how you see SEO. What is the most important? So if I see I was to audit a website, for example, I audit Keith's website, and I can see that there's a whole bunch of broken links. He's not done his redirects, or the alternative is he's not tagged some of his images. Which is the most important to do that's going to help his business move up the rankings? It's not going to be tagging images. We all know that those broken links need dealt with straight away. Tagging images would probably be the last thing you would want to do, but you need to do them in order of what you believe moves the needle the most. And obviously technical issues, broken links, anything that's going to impact Google seeing your website in a good light, in terms of broken links or whatever it might be, you need to address first. So, we could look at Keith's website, and again, I'm just using Keith as an example. I haven't looked at his website, but Keith pays me $1,000 a month. I do an audit and see that there's probably $4,000 worth of damage done to his website. It's $4,000 worth of fuck ups. Now, he's not going to budge on $1,000 a month. So I would just need to go through that in terms of what is going to keep him as a client, keep him quiet whilst getting the quickest amount of growth, to then be able to come out of that 4 months saying, hey, Keith, we've done all of this stuff and your rankings have doubled. And he's going to go, oh, bloody good job, guys. Continue paying, and then that's it. Clients always have budgets, and those budgets are not always a fair reflection of what we do, but tackle it in terms of not just what you think is important, but what is going to get movement for that client to keep the budget coming in.
I'm an on-page guy. So, you got to keep me on the page. You got to keep me engaged. The title, the headings, the content, the words, just, suck me in and just have me go deeper into the site and get more info, take action. You don't need hundreds and hundreds of blogs, right? You can piece that out. Give them exactly what your customer wants. Then you can worry about adding links later. You can add more ways to add traffic. Fix the major issues first, as Craig said. And for me, it's like, there's got to be a reason why they're here. And what do I want them to do? All right, well then let's focus on that creative marketing on this page.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The way I sort of approach it myself with our team, we own in-house and we're mainly doing affiliate, right? But basically the way I say it to them is that content and links is the 80-20, right? So if 80% of the time goes into content and links, and then you can spend about 20% of your time, aka 1 day a week, basically looking at technical stuff. But I see a lot of SEOs that gets like total boggled down trying to do all these technical things, and they think like changing a little plugin or whatever is suddenly gonna blow up their site, right? But I really like looking at 80-20 and basically saying, if you spend 2 days a week on content, 2 days a week on links, and 1 day a week sort of on the technical stuff, I really like that kind of prioritization, because I've seen so many people who are doing their own affiliate site that just, they forget content and links, and in the end of the day, at least from my point of view, that's what drives the show, right?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, most definitely, for sure. It's like, with speed, everyone was all, oh my gosh, speed. Well, the reality is, you can rank slow sites, right? Mm-hmm. You can use other factors. Now, are there those micro little signals that can help you? Yes, but man, increasing your speed by 20% is not going to move the needle very much at all.
Yeah, I think a lot of people see like their website will load in 1.6 seconds, and they spend a week to get that down to 1.4 seconds, as if that's going to, as Mad say, blow the whole website up, and it's not. There's, as long as it's loading under 2 seconds, you're probably fine. I think people obsessed with these kind of wee things, and that is why these type of people are always like, oh, well, what I've done some solid content, I've done some this, that, the next thing you're just like, dude, you're just not fucking doing any work, which is content and links. So, yeah.
And people were just what was it, 2 years ago, of like, hey, what's going to be the greatest thing we need to focus on in 2018? And I don't give a shit what you say. 40% of people were saying voice search, right? Now, most of these people, they were not. They're experts in their field, and they may write for some of these SEO blogs and such. But who gives a shit about voice search? Because you know what? I'm just asking her a simple question, and it's just a snippet. It's not making money, right? For voice search. there can be some opportunities on the local side, but a real buyer is going to be on their phone. They're going to be engaged, and they're going to want to actively buy. You know, I've never personally, I don't even know if it's possible to, on voice search, to buy an item and then say, oh yes, charge this credit card, and everything is done just through the air.
Nah, I think we're several years away from that being in place. But people jump on these. I remember everyone jumping on the AMP bandwagon as well. And everyone was making their pages AMP. And what I tend to do is not jump on those bandwagons.
For translation, that is the letter AMP. Thank you.
And people jump in the bandwagon, you know, do big conferences on it and all that shit. And then a few years down the line, you're just like, what a fucking waste of time. Thank fuck I never dived in and wasted God knows how much money sorting that shit out. So, yeah, you need to what I would say is when you hear those little fads going on, take a step back. Don't dive in right away. See how the market goes and then jump in. It's the same with schema and stuff. I'm quite late to the party in implementing schema, and I wanted to see how it would go. And then if I see it starting to work, I'm like, fuck this, right? Everyone else is doing it, so it's now time for me to do it and get in the knowledge panel and you know, all of these kind of things. And yeah, you've got to join the party at some point when you see this stuff working, though. So there you go.
Excellent.
Yeah,
so
everyone's going to be hot to trot on Core Web Vitals. I mean, what the fuck is that? They don't even define what it is. I don't know, right? It's more bullshit for people to write about and then say, oh yeah, Core Web Vitals. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's also the sort of technical nerdy aspect, right? Like a lot of people in the SEO world, we like playing around with stuff and we like new stuff. But again, it goes back to what I said earlier. I mean, it's 80-20 content and links.
It just, we're humans. We have those needs. So if we can just match their needs to your content, solve their problem, get what they want, ask them to take action, what more do you want? You got it.
It's simple. It's simple and always has been. I think people overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Right. There's a question here from Chris. He starts out by saying, loving the event. So much good knowledge. I'm wanting to get into affiliate SEO. What's the best way to get started? And then they have in brackets, I hate talking to people. So
I've got an affiliate course that came out in Black Friday, which gives you a bit of insight into that. And I'm not here to plug that stuff. I've also got a ton of affiliate stuff on my YouTube channel, which you can tap into, how to pick a niche, age domains versus new domains and all that kind of stuff. So there is some free stuff on the YouTube channel. I do have an affiliate course that was $79 in Black Friday, which you'll find on craigcampbellseo.com. That's it. I'm not plugging myself anymore. But yeah, you can get a guide there. But Keith, what about you? Any advice for where this guy can look?
I'm the kind of guy I like recurring monthly revenue. It's known in the world that I charge a lower price, but I also can work on a lower end customer, and I laugh all the way to the bank. I don't care, right? I just met a guy today. He wants computer repair, help him on the map, help him with the website. We're talking $300 a month, right? So I'll take those jobs all day long, but that's my business model. I'm not the kind of person that I would work so hard all year to try to turn $20,000, $50,000, $100,000, and that's just not me. I'm not an affiliate guy.
Yeah, No, I like it. And yeah, so I mean, from my perspective as well, Craig, I mean, there is a ton of free information out there, right? And I would definitely recommend go join some groups, right? There's lots of good Facebook groups around affiliate marketing for sure, and SEO. And yeah, there's also some solid courses. I mean, Matt Diggity, The Lab, Authority Hackers, both are also great, like huge courses that will really go into details, right? But I'm someone that like getting started, so I think particularly in SEO, like you can spend 20 years reading and learning, but the best way to really learn is to do, right? So spend a little bit of time figuring out how to pick a niche, pick something, and roll with it and see where it goes. And you can always start another site, right? But
someone you can trust. You just say, hey, look at. Buy Craig's course, follow what he says, turn everything off, see where you at 6 weeks later, 6 months, and then, relook and examine where you're at. People are just the shiny object syndrome just will kill you, right? It's like, shut up, turn off your social media, turn off your email, turn off your phone, and just work. Just what are you passionate about? And then focus on that.
I love that one. Yeah, totally. Lots of people have shiny object syndrome, right? And I think particularly with affiliate, because you don't have the pressure from clients screaming at you and so on, you definitely need to have some inner motivation to push you. So I love that one. So again, what I always say, so many people do various courses and many different things. Really, the challenge is people never follow through. Like they do 50% of the course and they don't get why they're not winning, right? So pick one, just go with it and follow the recipe and, pick up as much as you can.
Watch my talk tomorrow, by the way, to that guy. Watch my talk tomorrow. I'm not sure what time it's on at, but I'm speaking again tomorrow and I've got a kind of affiliate kind of case study and we speak about Lisa and we go through some of that stuff, and she started with a website and all that kind of stuff, and it's a success story, so it might inspire you to see that Lisa done it, and I think the main point from that was she took action, just what the guys are saying.
Yeah, you are the only person speaking twice at the summit, Craig. How does that feel?
I feel very privileged. It's always a pleasure. So I like to send them one voice and all of that stuff. So yeah, I'm only kidding. It's a pleasure to speak twice.
Definitely. Right, guys, we've already ran over an hour, but thank you so very much for your participation, and thanks to all the amazing people watching who have been firing questions and so on. So thank you very much.
See you tomorrow, guys.